Hello. How are you today?
I'm good, Jess. How are you?
I'm good. So today...
Sorry I didn't wear my pajamas.
Shut up. So today we're going to talk about your company, which is GES, which stands for...
Global Experience Specialist.
Okay. And how your company deals with these common mistakes made by businesses, and you're going to talk to me about how you avoid them or how you deal with these different challenges that you face in the marketplace.
All right.
Well,
hang on.
Okay.
Let me describe what GES does
Okay.
to your students.
Okay.
So GES is a trade show company.
Okay.
We do the Toronto Auto Show as our biggest client. We do sportsman shows, but we do a lot of business-to-business shows.
Yeah, so first we're going to talk about the common mistake that is failure to adapt to cultures. So how do you guys take that mistake that a lot of different companies you see in business are not dealing with, and how do you deal with that and try to avoid it?
My company operates primarily in the United States, in Europe, but in London, France, Germany, and in Canada. We do operate in the United Arab Emirates as well. We have offices in Dubai. But generally speaking, our business language is English, and we just don't operate in countries that aren't sort of similar cultures to North America or Europe. So obviously in the Toronto marketplace, we have lots of cultural businesses that we deal with. Next year, we're actually doing a Chinese food show at the MTCC.
But how do you do Chinese if you're avoiding, like...
Well, we're not avoiding their culture. It's just that we're operating within the Canadian business environment.
So the language doesn't really...
Yeah, so language isn't really an issue. It's not, we don't avoid different cultures. We just operate within our geographies to avoid those cultures. Like we don't operate in China.
Okay, interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the mistake that is understanding local competition. So a lot of companies don't look at that. And for example, Target, when they came to Canada, they didn't think about Walmart and accept the impact that it has on Canada. So they came in and they miserably failed. So what do you at GES do to avoid that?
So we have local competition in every geographic market.
Yeah.
In Toronto, our competitors are both unionized. So one of the reasons I said we don't do work in Hamilton is because we're a unionized company, whereas in the Hamilton marketplace, you don't have to use unionized labor to set up the trade shows. So we're inefficient in this area from a labor standpoint.
What is your competition?
Our competition are people that also do the same type of work. One is very similar to us, a big American-owned company. They're actually bigger.
What is it called?
It's called Freeman Decorating.
Okay. What do you do to separate yourself from the competition in international marketplaces?
So in the international marketplace, we believe that we provide greater service, have better people, have better designs, and you know, the business is face-to-face marketing. So that really is about how you interact with your customers and how they can therefore interact with their customers.
Has this worked out for you?
Well, I guess so. Okay. It's worked out well for the company. They're growing constantly. We're over $1 billion in total revenue. Okay. We're on the New York Stock Exchange. So.
Okay, moving on. So next we're going to talk about the demand of consumers in this area. So that is a challenge and a mistake that a lot of businesses run into, but do you avoid that, or do you not? I mean, you can say that you don't.
No, we thought that the internet was going to really damage our business about 5 years ago. We thought everybody would be ordering online and doing their marketing over the internet. And you see a lot of that, especially you youngins out there with your social media, but face-to-face marketing isn't going away. You don't buy a car over the internet. You go in to the auto dealer and drive it and meet the person. And it's no different than a lot of things. That's why we're into face-to-face marketing. People like to touch it, feel it, and talk to other consumers or the providers of the service. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Thanks, Jess.
So next we're going to talk about differences in finance. So how do you guys deal with that in the international marketplace?
Well, differences in finances. Well, that's a good question, Jess. How do we? Hang on, my wife's giving me the answer. I didn't hear her, though.
Currency.
So we do operate in different currencies, but we avoid negative currencies. We really just deal with euros and U.S. dollars and Canadian dollars, so the major currencies. We don't get into, Japanese yens or Chinese dollars or anything like that.
Okay.
In the United Arab Emirates, they use U.S. dollars. So
And what about countries that maybe aren't as wealthy as here? How do you get around that?
So we don't really operate in those countries.
Okay, do you think that's limiting
Countries, we do. We looked at buying a company actually in Turkey because Turkey has the highest growth of trade shows, but Turkey's got an unstable political environment
Yeah.
because of all the Syrian refugees and all that stuff going there. So, there's a lot of stuff that goes on around the world where face-to-face marketing is actually growing, but you try to avoid it.
Yeah, so next is the failure to research. So how have businesses not done that? And like, how have you done that? And how has that helped you? Because I know that it is a mistake if businesses don't do that. So you do that?
We do our research, yes. We're trying a new product this year coming up, which is just a CNC lathe, which will help us increase our productivity. So, in terms of research, we do different type graphics and stuff to increase the marketing. But when you talk about failure to do research, we tried to put banners on windows and they didn't peel off
Yeah.
very well. That cost us a fortune.
Okay, but in the international marketplace.
In the international marketplace, it's sort of all the same. Where you fail you to do your research is just knowing your political and geographic risks within those operating units.
Next, we're going to talk about the failure to provide local sales representation.
I knew we were going to do that. It's almost like they're following an order here, Jess.
Yeah.
So we have sales reps in every country we operate in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we do fly across and wherever we have to go to chase some business. My boss and our sales team were just in Geneva.
Okay.
We have a big banking industry show coming to Toronto next September.
Okay.
It's the biggest show that the company in Canada's ever done. So yeah, they went out and got that one. Our Quebec branch went to Amsterdam to get a technology show that's coming into Montreal.
These companies who aren't providing that local sales representation, they're not able to connect as well with the people.
Well,
and do you think that these companies who aren't providing that face-to-face marketing are at a huge disadvantage?
They are,
people
because
don't feel it.
you can't provide a product and a service if you don't believe in it. So
Yeah.
we believe in it, which is why we spend the dollars to go do it. It's not cheap to fly 5 people to Geneva and
Finances.
put them into hotels, and it's not cheap to fly to Amsterdam. And
Yeah.
so no, we just go out and do it. You have to.
Okay.
So Jess, let's talk about using cookie cutter marketing strategies.
That's a good
Do you
idea.
want to do that?
I do.
All right, we're going to do that. So we don't really use cookie cutter marketing strategies. We design everything to that industry, that business. But we have made some mistakes. You want to talk about some mistakes? We did a presentation this week to OpenText, which is a Waterloo-based technology company. And the sales lady told me this morning that the people that do purchasing told us to bring binders in. And she got there for the presentation, and they had the entire audio-visual presentation all set up to go. And our competitors came in with an AV presentation, and we came in with binders. So she was a little annoyed at the purchasing person who told her, "Oh no, bring in binders. That's what they want."
Yeah.
And we basically failed. We went the cookie cutter approach instead of some proper marketing. So we failed on that.
And that can happen anywhere in the world, right?
It can, and again, you're relying on your partners in this marketing business, but you win some, you lose some. So we'll see if we lose that next week. So.
Okay, so next we're going to move on to the mistake of ignoring transportation costs.
So in the business that I work in, transportation costs is huge. I work in Mississauga. We truck it into all the convention facilities in Toronto, and then we have offices everywhere else. And internationally, we truck it. In Europe is probably the biggest place we move it, because it's all in London, and they literally put it on trains and trucks, transport trucks, and ship it.
Do they fly it?
No, we don't fly it because it weighs too much, and it costs like $25 to put a suitcase on.
How do you get it across the oceans?
We don't have it across the oceans because we have equipment in Dubai, in London, in Germany, all across the United States and Canada.
Okay.
So it's on trucks or it goes on rail car. We don't put it on ships.
Okay, and ignoring these strategies,
So,
what do you think would happen?
So here's a perfect example, Jess. We could do a job in Alaska that's really big.
Yeah.
But to get it to Alaska, their transportation cost is huge.
Yes.
So it's you sort of can't deal with your competition because we're not local. And the transportation cost is just huge.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out how to ship it in from Calgary or Edmonton to Alaska.
Yeah.
Because the Seattle office for the United States doesn't want to do it.
Understandable,
So, yeah.
So last one,
Jess.
is the letters of credit. So
I can't say we've made a mistake of letters of credit, but we've made some mistakes with financing, which is great when you're talking to the director of finance. But last year, our creative sewing show didn't pay us. We didn't have a letter of credit in place.
Yeah.
So I think they have told you, but my uncle used to have a factory in Dundas, which some of your staff may remember, M.A. Henry, and Consumers Distributing went bankrupt. Just like Target went bankrupt more recently and some of
Yeah.
that, right? And not having letters of credit can impact companies because they don't get paid for the product that they've sold. So,
Yes.
so it actually put my uncle out of business, and it cost us about $50,000 last year.
Yeah, so you guys,
So-
you didn't really avoid that mistake.
So we didn't avoid that mistake. We probably should have.
Okay. Okay.
So that's about it, Jess.
Okay. Thank you
So,
for.
yeah.
Thank you.